All right, we're back finally on the clock. Round 7, round 8, Hormel division. It's been a couple days. This draft has been dragging on. I've seen a lot of people post that they are at least at the halfway point, if not round 13, 14. We're only in round 7, round 8. So we're at the 7-8 turn. There's the squad thus far. 3 quarterbacks. Anybody that hasn't tuned in, I went Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, not realizing Josh Allen and Daniel Jones have the same bye. So I ended up taking a third QB at the 3-4 turn, then took Ramondre Stevenson, and then last round at 5-6, doubled down and took Kenneth Walker and Damian Pierce. So I'm 3 running backs, 3 quarterbacks in, do not have a receiver. We are looking at 25 quarterbacks taken in the draft thus far, 26 running backs, and 24 receivers. So here is the best available according to ADP. There's been 8 tight ends that have gone, so I'm not taking a tight end. That's pretty much out the window at this point. So really it's going to come down to looking at the WoRP chart. Kind of went through this last time, but here it is again. So in this format, clearly, and we'll remove the tight ends because I'm not going to take tight ends. We'll remove the QBs because I'm not going to take QB. So you remove the QBs and the tight ends. As you can see, all the way down to about wide receiver 36. Running back 36, wide receiver 36. That's the intersection point to where basically the WoRP is the same from there on out in a lineup league. The biggest thing that people need to realize with WoRP and not a WoRP or adjusted WoRP is you do have to set a lineup. So in lineup leagues, the running back WoRP is going to drop off simply because it flattens out because you have to set lineups, right? So best ball, you're going to see it probably be higher based on the fact that it's point per carry, but here it drops off. But that's the intersection point. So what's the point of this? Well, I have 3 running backs already. Here's the optimal roster construction for this league. And when you see this, obviously you see the end values here, 3.5 quarterbacks. I'm close to that. I'm already at 3, so I'll probably end up just taking 3 given what I know, maybe 4 if I get an opportunity. Then you have this number 5 running backs, 2.5 tight ends, let's call it 3, 5 running backs or 5 receivers. Then you have this droppable number is 6. Now I've said from the get-go that basically for me, in this scoring format, the droppable number is going to be almost all running backs. So you can just tack this on to my running backs, and I'm going to be rostering 10 or 11 running backs. So that's my goal, 10 or 11 running backs, with the goal of probably only 5 receivers. However, when you look at the graph, clearly I want to get my receivers somewhere in this range. I've already hit 3 running backs that I think can be in this, I don't know, call it 8 to 24 range. So I've already hit those 3. There's still plenty of bodies available at running back. And receiver-wise, I need to hit a couple in this range. So let's go back over to best available. Here's best available receivers. Again, I have back-to-back picks. Now, complicating this is I do have those bye weeks in week 13, right? I already have Josh Allen and Daniel Jones out in week 13. DJ Moore has a round 13 bye. So it's really, really pushing it for me to draft DJ Moore. So I do know one of my picks. I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk as one of my picks. I have to pick 2 receivers that fit into this range. So I'm going to go ahead and just lock Brandon Ayuk here in as one of my picks. The question becomes, what do I do with the second one? So we'll lock Ayuk in as one of the selections. So he is in. Next question is, where do I go with this second pick? I could go DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, we don't know where he's necessarily going to sign. But he's another one that's been going off the board right or in this range. I've seen him go much earlier than this. Obviously, somebody took him at 37 overall, which is crazy. 4.01. Pretty early. DJ Moore, someone took him in round 3. Again, this is just ADP, so I don't really care, but I'm just kind of curious as to, how high somebody has reached on one of those guys. But also, I'm going to take another receiver here. So it's between Drake London, DeAndre Hopkins, because I think there's some of these guys that are a little lower that are going to fall back to me. So it's really, do I want to take the gamble on a guy like Hopkins versus a guy like Drake London? And I think what I'm going to do is, because a lot of people are going to avoid Drake London just simply because in redraft, people are just convinced that, hey, you know what? We know what the Falcons offense is going to be. We know what Arthur Smith's going to be. We know what he can do, but in the parameters of an offense, it's only going to throw it 450 times or so. A lot of people, I think, are going to fade Drake London. I also think there is some risk with Hopkins, for instance. Then I also think that there's a little potential risk, just depending on when he signs, that his ADP goes a little bit lower. And I don't think that will be the case, that he would fall back to me. Almost guaranteed that he won't. But I kind of feel like I'm thinking Drake London is the Galaxy Brain here, or the Galaxy Brain play here, just given that what if things are a little bit different than what we expect. So I'm going to ride with the talent. I know this isn't Dynasty. I'm going to ride with the talent, Drake London, lock in the pick. It really hurts to pass on DJ Moore. It really does, because I think he's the best receiver on the board. It's just that bye week. I really can't afford, with both Danny Dimes and Josh Allen out, I can't really afford to take another player that has a week 13 bye at least right now. So I'm going to lock in Drake London. We go Drake London. We go Brandon Ayuk. So we are 8 rounds in, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 2 receivers, and we will be back with the round 9, round 10 picks on the turn. I don't know when that'll be. Based on this pace, it'll probably be Saturday, maybe Saturday night, most likely on Sunday, though. So with that, I'll sign up. Hope everybody's enjoying this. Again, southharmonff.com. Donate to Fantasy Cares at fantasycares.org, as you see at the bottom. So southharmonff.com/WoRP, then fantasycares.org for a donation, all for a good cause. We'll be back round 9, round 10. Be chill.